Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. Summertime is bee time in East Tennessee. I've heard from two folks this week about yellow jacket problems that they've had in their yard, their area. One person called Southeast Termite and Pest Control and their problems and the yellow jackets are no more. The other person, they still need to call Southeast Termite and Pest Control. And if you've got yellow jacket, wasp, bee issues of any kind, give them a call. You should call them too. They do a good job with it. Southeast Termite and Pest Control. All right, let's stay with the true-false theme. We got a couple of comments here that came out this week. The first one's pretty quick. We're headed in the right direction, and we're headed there in a hurry, Jeremy Pruitt says. Ryan and David, is Tennessee headed in the right direction, and are they headed there, keyword, in a hurry?
I think they are headed in the
true
right.
True or false? So
yeah,
you say true.
I'll say true, I guess.
I thought you were going
no, I was
going
to say, I think they're headed in the right direction. I don't know if it's so much in a hurry.
Okay, so you're going true or false?
False? False, I guess, based
okay.
on the timing. I think this is more of a 4 or 5 year rebuild than people probably are assuming it is if they buy that statement. So I think that's probably false. I think they'll maybe get there if they continue on this track, but if we're projecting a 6-7 win season the way a lot of people are by picking Tennessee 5th in the SEC East, you're still a couple years away from being ready to really contend in the division.
And the one thing you're supposed to be killing it in with this staff is recruiting. Maybe that picks up, but as of right now, you got a lot of SEC teams ahead of it.
Well, and Georgia's making it tough because they're recruiting at about the same level as Alabama right now. So in your own division, you've got to catch Georgia.
Yeah. David, true or false on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say true. They're heading in the right direction. I think you look at this roster that Jeremy Pruitt inherited, and we're sitting here, 19 months later. There's a lot better pieces. I think the lack of impact players, the fact they were so average everywhere. I think when you look at who they brought in and guys improving last year, they're getting better. And I think, if you want to believe that Jeremy Pruitt is the elite coach, I think it's the other side of the sort of Matt Hayes coin of I don't think you have enough evidence to really know that or not. But the one thing that I am certain of the Jeremy Pruitt era at Tennessee is that whenever they leave, whether it's in 3 years or 20 years, there's going to be a lot more talent on the field and on the roster than what they took over with.
Okay, so you say true, they're headed in the right direction in a hurry. All right, let's go to the next quote. This is longtime media member Cole Kubelik, great analyst, SEC especially. He says this on Josh Ward's podcast. That's 2 plugs for your podcast today.
Locked on Balls.
You need to thank the guy on Twitter who said, you need to tease his podcast.
Yeah,
so there
thank
you
you,
go.
Matt.
You also had that on your radio show.
Yep.
In the afternoons on WNML with Heather Harrington. The quote was, the only reason Jeremy Pruitt won't get Tennessee where it needs to be is if he's not given enough, misspelling, he's not given enough time to get Tennessee where it needs to be. True or false, gentlemen? That's the only way Jeremy Pruitt doesn't succeed.
Yeah, I don't think he can answer it.
Yeah,
I do. That's false. That's not the
Well,
only way
okay,
you
then
can
false
say
would
it.
be, then false would be it. There you go. I was looking for a way to agree with his hypotheses,
Okay.
and you can't do it. No, yes, it is false. There is no way that
It's
just not
timing.
getting enough time. I mean, if you left him there 10 years and he's still going 6-6, well, okay.
Yeah.
Does he get another year? So no, I will go false.
Yeah, I have to say false, just having been in Knoxville and seeing so many scenarios of how things can play out for why
Lots of ways to go wrong.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. We've seen them, and there could be more out there. I do think his overall point was right in that there needs to be a bigger picture look at it and more patience allowed for what the ultimate objective is, and that's to get Tennessee to an SEC championship level. And I don't think that's going to happen as quickly, or it's likely to happen as quickly as some people want, which would mean more time for that ultimate goal needs to be allowed.
See, I'm afraid he could be a 3-year guy, because I say 6-6 this year, which I think is improvement, and it could be a lot of improvement depending on how you lose some of those games. I think if he goes 6-6, he's on the hot seat for next year.
Yeah. Maybe. I think Fulmer believes too much in his hire and in Pruitt to really think about that.
But
yeah.
there will be massive pressure going into next year.
Yeah, if they're 6-6, I could see it. I mean, especially if they take some beating.
Well, here's the other thing.
how.
Philip Fulmer said this last year. It's now in stone for people like us to bring up. Tennessee coach will be judged on Alabama, Florida, Georgia. If he has a good year next year, but he's 0-9 against those teams after 3 years, that seat's pretty hot, whether Fulmer likes him or not.
Yeah, maybe.
You get the Harbaugh. There are people upset with Harbaugh at Michigan because he can't beat Ohio State. He's 11-1 every year, but they're not happy with the Ohio State thing. So I think it could get hot in year 3 if he doesn't do well this year.
And I think everyone will agree it's a 4-year rebuild, and he gets 4 years unless he continues losing to Vanderbilt the way Tennessee has. That's got to change.
That does have to change. The other thing, I mean, all I'm getting at, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but there was a time when people thought, man, Bruce Pearl, nothing could trip him up except the NCAA. You know, I mean, and now the NCAA, it looks like they may get some penalties at Auburn based off the Chuck Person thing. But there's all kinds of things that could play into the scenario. Right. So the idea that the only way he fails is if you don't give him time, obviously that's a heck of a statement about Jeremy Pruitt. Clearly, Cole Kublik believes in him. That's a quality statement, and that's a good opinion to listen to. But the idea that there's nothing else that could go wrong, as you say, we could write a book here in Knoxville, and people have.
Yeah.
So, okay, when we come back, the whole elite thing, let's get back to that. What has changed in the last 20 years since Tennessee won a national championship? We came up with 6 things, and we're going to rank them in terms of new obstacles between Tennessee and elite status. Which are the ones that are the biggest ones to overcome for the Volunteers? That is next. Come on back.